So a few days ago, I actually was live streaming Ace Combat 5 and I got a comment in the chat that came across my mind as to what was my favorite non-fictional aircraft in Ace Combat. And I was really thinking to myself, like, what is my favorite non-fictional aircraft? There's so much to pick from and I can't really single out one. There's just so many good ones. Now, by all means, I do not consider myself a storyteller, so please don't bash me on this one. So I looked more and more into all the aircrafts and I decided, based off of design and performance and what I really enjoyed playing with in Ace Combat and what I thought looked the coolest as well, this is my top 10 favorite non-fictional aircrafts in Ace Combat. So before we start the video, I just want to go ahead and say that this is completely opinionated, and if you guys have any other opinions, leave them down in the comment section below, and I'd love to see what are your favorite non-fictional aircrafts in Ace Combat. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into my top 10. Ah yes, the F-16C. This is a very simple aircraft, very simple design. It reminds me a lot of the F-5 for some reason. I don't know, man, just don't look at me, okay? But no, seriously, I do love this aircraft. I love the nickname for it because its official name is Fighting Falcon, but then the pilots and crews also refer to it as Viper, which is, I think, pretty unique in my opinion. This is something that the name Viper, it's like the name of a sports car, and I thought it was kind of cool too, so it's not too unique, but it's one of those planes like the F5 that you can't just help but love. And although it's not that special or high tech or it doesn't have all these different features on it like most planes do, or it doesn't have anything that really makes it stick out, I still think it's very cool. It's just one of those planes I can't really put down. It's just one of those planes that you start off with and you start to grow a large bond with it. I mean, it is just an aircraft, but I mean, still, I still think this is one of my most favorite aircrafts, at least for like the starting out planes. And yes, I would like to say it is a better starting plane over the F4 Phantom II. It's not bad, but it's still not the greatest aircraft, which is why I put it at the number 10 spot. And the next spot is the Hellcat. This plane is probably one of my favorite. It's a really old style plane and it has a very antique-esque plane. It gives off these very nostalgic vibes. It's something that's very old, but it's also badass. It has this really hardcore tanky style, something that I guess you would see in Battlefield 1. I love it. It's so simple, but yet it's also so useful. This plane has been seen in Ace Combat Assault Horizon Legacy for the 3DS and Ace Combat Joint Assault, and it's a very old style. Like I said, it reminds me a lot of the World War II bomber planes, and I think this is just one of my favorite just because it has that very old style. I have a deep appreciation for a lot of these older aircrafts just because I don't know, I think that just the design and it's very antique-esque is, I guess, the best way to put it. I know I said that before, but that's just the best way I can put it, that this thing is very old and I don't know, I think it looks cool in general. So I used this in my live stream a few days ago and this originates from Europe. It's multi-role, fast as fuck, and not really a big reason to be on the list, but I just remember it being extremely fast and helping with a lot of missions. It's amazing against a lot of other aircrafts. I mean, okay, it's not the top of the line, but I would say for what it is, I think it's great. I mean, whenever I use it, it was very smooth the way it flew. It was very quick as well. I mean, it's not the fastest plane in the world, but for what it is and for how mobile it is, I think this is a great plane to use in Ace Combat, to be honest. This plane is actually very famous for having a high number of appearances in Ace Combat. Plus, the only thing that really throws me off about this plane is its design. The wings look like they're glued on, I guess. It looks like a big giant triangle with, the head of the plane sticking out, and this is one of the planes that really sticks out to me. It's fast, but also it has really cool design that makes it look very fast, agile, and that it can get through anything, and that's kind of why it's one of my favorite. Okay, look guys, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, if I mess up this pronunciation, please just tell me how to pronounce it in the comment section below. You guys already know I suck with pronunciations, but at the number 7 spot, I have the Sukhoi Su-47, the Sukhoi. It's such a tongue twister. Anyway, if you guys have any suggestions of how to pronounce that, please leave them down in the comment section below. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Anyways, so for those of you that don't know, I am a huge fan of Russian planes. They are the most unique, they're also very great, they're agile, they're fast, and they just have this unique design just because of the wings. The one thing about this is that although the US doesn't use them, they're still Russian made, and it's still one of the most unique designs in my opinion. But you know, okay, I can see that because they're Russian made, US doesn't want to pay all that money. Sure, fine, cool, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that the wings are just flip, but it's still one of the most unique just because, I mean, who would have thought of that? The really sad part about this model though is that it has been canceled in development, and there's supposedly still continuing research and development for the Su-47 or something similar to fighters like this, but I think it's just sad to see it go because I love flying it in Ace Combat, I promise you. It's one of those planes that are really fast, great for air to air, great for air to ground. I mean, it's very quick, it can get you anywhere, and I think it's a great all-around air to air fighter. Hopefully new prototypes of this aircraft will be unveiled in the future, I don't know, but I would really love to see something more to come from this model. I just love Russian aircrafts in general. I think they're very unique. They have this style and vibe. It's very, it has a lot of personality to it. At the number 6 spot, this is something that's very, very basic to me because I don't know, it's a very basic design. A lot of US aircrafts I feel like are very similar in style. So the thing about this plane is that it's very, very good for a lot of the missions that I did. I know whenever I went up against the Synfaxi, it was a great plane to use because, hey, shout out to the viewers because without them, I would probably be taking another loss in a mission. I'm sure you guys know a lot about that. I think it's a great aircraft for midway through the game and a lot of important missions and a lot of those really dull, boring missions that you would probably play. I think this is one of those aircrafts that helps you get midway through, whether you had the money or not. It's not too expensive, but it's not too cheap either, and it's one of those planes that gets the job done. All around, just an amazing fighter aircraft for what it is, and it's helped for so many missions. I cannot stress that enough. At the number 5 spot, we have the A-10 Thunderbolt II. This plane is one of my favorite. What else do I have to say? I mean, this amazing piece of metal, the guns, amazing. The sounds, amazing. The paint and design, amazing. But the speed and mobility, it's just garbage. It's complete poo-poo. Look, I'm just being honest. The guns and the bombing, I mean, this is one of the best offensive planes you could probably get in Ace Combat, or one of the best bomber planes in my opinion, especially whenever you're going up against a lot of air-to-ground targets. This is one of the best planes to use, there's no doubt about it. Especially that design with the shark paint on it on the front whenever it has the mouth open and the teeth on it. That used to be one of my favorite designs on a plane, and it still is, so to say, at least for a bomber plane. I love the designs for it. I never actually started using the A-10 for true gameplay or campaign purposes. I used to just use it because I thought it was cool, and then I realized it's not the greatest for air-to-air, so maybe I probably shouldn't use it. But I just thought every plane was so good for air-to-air, so I used to be a noob, but regardless, playing Ace Combat 5 has really made me open up to a lot of new other options, especially the A-10, which has now solidified its spot in my favorite list. Look, okay, I know you guys might think this plane is basic as fuck. And well, it is, unfortunately, but in my opinion, this is one of the most popular aircrafts that the US has ever created, honestly. It's one of the best used, most used, and I think it's the most efficient as well. It's also pretty ironic how this is number 4 in the list. And Mobius 1 is from Ace Combat 4, which he flies this thing by himself. Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't know where I was going with that, but regardless, not to bash the plane for its popularity, but it has to be one of the most useful planes as well. Like I said before, it's stealthy, it has great performance, speed, air combat abilities, etc. This is one of the most useful planes, I think, in my opinion. And yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, this shouldn't come as a surprise, but it is expensive as hell. I'm not bashing this plane, but I think there's a lot more other aircrafts out there that deserve more attention than what they get. I think the F-22 gets enough attention for what it is, and I think it's one of the most perfect planes, which is why it's high up on my list, but then again, it's not my favorite, like I said. Look guys, like I said, I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again. First off, Ace Combat 4 is probably my favorite Ace Combat game by far. Ace Combat 5 is kind of battling the list right now, but still, it's one of my favorite games of all time, nostalgic as hell. Regardless, Russian planes, like I said before, they have a very special place in my heart for some reason. It's just the design of the SC-37 that makes it super interesting, makes it look fast as hell, and battling the Yellow Squadron in Ace Combat 4 was super unforgettable. I mean, I remember dying from them so much when I was younger. I mean, what's new? No, but seriously, I would always wonder how I could get their planes. I mean, it was always fast, I would always lose, it was always hard to go up against them, and what if I had the chance to play as them? And then once I got around to finally getting the SC-37, I was just in love the moment I picked it up. It has the speed, the combat ability, and the colors. It's unique in every way, but unfortunately they stopped developing the SC-37, and it's also a good thing that there's video and gameplay of these. So I mean, I would expect this to be a very popular aircraft, but it has to be at least one of my favorites. I don't know about you guys, but it is my favorite. Hey, wait, did I say I like bomber planes? Because this is one of the most unique non-fictional bomber planes ever designed, hands down. Because at one point this was my favorite aircraft until I dove deeper into other aircrafts and I started to like more and more, but it's not enough for the #1 spot, but I still think it's a great plane. The stealth aspect, the smooth design, and just the way it looks so, it has that ninja-esque vibe to it. It's very unique since most bomber planes I've seen before the B2 series are very large, bulky, loud, and obviously you're gonna know when they're coming, but the B2, whenever they design this thing, I just think is so unique, and it's one of the most unique aircrafts I think that anyone has ever designed that I've seen before. I love the black paint. It gives it a very smoother look, and it gives it that sneaky vibe, like you don't really know what's coming, but at the same time, you know, it's one of those planes that when it comes, it's gonna hit hard. And I think the triangle-esque design kind of reminds me of some sort of spaceship or space aircraft. I don't really know how to explain that. It's always stuck out to me, and it'll always be my favorite bomber plane. And I think, like I said before, one of the most unique aircrafts I think I've seen designed. And the way that the wheels come up whenever it takes off and lands, I think it's so smooth how you can't even see it come off, and you can't even see the bombs in the plane. It's always stuck out to me, and I think this will always be my favorite bomber plane by far. Ah yes, at the #1 spot, the Tomcat. This is another great design for an aircraft, very unique. My favorite part about this is the wings, and I think that the way they're able to extend out and close back up for slow and fast flight, I think it's super cool to see this, and it just gives off this futuristic design type vibe. And if you guys haven't seen a video of this thing, it is amazing. I highly recommend it. There's so much personality and style to this thing, and one of the most prettiest aircrafts that the US has ever designed. I think this is a very overlooked and underappreciated aircraft in my opinion, and I think that it deserves a lot more attention for what it is. For some reason, the design makes it look very bulky and sort of like a tank, like it could take a lot of hits and it could get away in most situations with the arms to the plane. And I think that if the US created a lot more unique styled aircrafts like this, I think I would be more in love, but unfortunately they're just not. And you know, I think this is one of the things that makes it stick out, and it's really cool to see something like this pop out on the radar. And I think that if the US created more aircrafts very specialized, like maybe a Russian aircraft, something like that, or maybe, you know, like the Tomcat, I think it would be really cool to see. But anyways guys, that is it for my favorite top 10 non-fictional aircrafts in Ace Combat. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and slap a like on it, and let me know what are your favorite top 10 aircrafts in the comment section below. Make sure they are non-fictional and not fictional. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and check out my Ace Combat 5 playthrough. It is live and blind, and I think it is one of the most unique Ace Combat games that Bandai has ever created. It's starting to become one of my favorite. I don't know if it's gonna top Ace Combat 4. Also, if you guys haven't seen already, go ahead and check out my Ace Combat 7 news video. I'm going to be doing a giveaway whenever the game comes out, so look forward to that. I'm super excited about that. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I really would appreciate it, and I cannot wait to release more videos to you guys. If there's any other top 10 favorite lists or anything you would like to see me do in the future like this, leave them down in the comment section below. I'd love to see what you guys have to think about that. Thank you so much for the amount of support I've been getting lately, and I cannot thank you guys enough. But with all that being said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys then.